Okay, so if we're solving equations with fractional coefficients, it's important to determine one thing. Say I have, this is an example, m divided by 7 equals -2. Okay, write that down. M divided by 7 equals -2. Now, this is a division equation, right? It has an equivalent way of writing this. So another way to write this same equation is 1/7 m equals -2. These are equivalent. You're saying the same thing. So even when we're dividing, we still have a coefficient. So if I say I'm getting rid of the coefficient in this case, I am getting rid of 1/7. That's the coefficient. Does that make sense? Okay. Just realize that. And while we're at it, let's solve this. It's division, so we're going to multiply by 7 to cancel that. And then m is -14. Because -14 divided by 7 is -2. That means we're going to do the same thing here to solve this one. Multiply by 7, the denominator. I'm going to cancel that 7 there, right? And I have 1m. But if I simplify 1m, it's really just m. Okay? So knowing that, let's get into some actual fractional coefficient equations. And this is going to be very short notes because it's not too much to cover. So there's two methods to solve this. We'll call one method 1, the other method 2. Okay. Method 1 for the equation 2/3 times w. So our coefficient is 2/3 equals -12. I'm going to write that underneath for each method. Go ahead and write that down. 2/3 w is -12. Okay? So our coefficient is 2/3. Method 1. You basically break it up into two smaller problems. So first thing I'm going to do is get rid of the denominator, 3. Basically the same way I got rid of this one. I got rid of my 7 denominator by multiplying by, yeah. So I'm going to do the same thing here. First you multiply by the denominator. I still have 2w, but now it equals -36. So I have 2 times w now. So first we divide, or I'm sorry, multiply. Multiply by denominator. I'll just put denom. That's what we did there. What should I do to get rid of the 2 and 2w? Divide by 2. So we get w is -18. Okay. And that's it. Any questions? Okay. Let's try that over here. Method 2 is you want to create a 1 here. What number can I multiply 2/3 by to make that a 1? 3/2. The reciprocal. Okay? Because look what happens here. 3 cross cancels with 3. 2 cross cancels with 2. We get 1 W, just W. And over here, well, basically you do all that math all at once. You multiply by 3, divide by 2, or do it in reverse. Divide by 2 and multiply by 3. So if I do it that way, 2 goes into 12, what do I get? Negative 6 in this case, and negative 6 times 3, you get the answer that way. So much quicker, right? It is legitimately one step. Multiply by the reciprocal. So write that down here. Multiply by reciprocal. You just have to be up on your multiplication and division facts. That's it. Okay? So which method do you prefer? Most, I'll be honest, most prefer 2 because it's quick. Well, I don't know if it's easy, but it's quicker. So method 1, anyone for method 1? A boo even. Okay, we got 1. Method 2. Okay. I think we'll be trying mostly method 2. We'll dabble in both for a little bit. But yeah, let's go ahead and solve just a couple. Just a couple. Because I don't think we need too much work in this. Let's just see if we can get away with 2. Okay. So number 1, we'll be solving. So let's say we have negative 2/5 a times a equals 8. Okay, we're going to try both methods on this one. So if we're doing both methods, method 1 would require us to do what? Multiply by 5. Let's do it. Okay, so this 5 cancels with that 5. We still have negative 2a equals 40. So now we have a multiplication equation in which we would divide by negative 2. Remember, we want a positive 1 here. A negative divided by a negative makes a positive. This makes positive 1. So that means we have to divide by negative 2 here. Okay, so we get a equals negative 20. And that's our answer. Okay, let's do the same thing with method 2. All right, remember, our goal is to get a positive 1 here. So we want to multiply by the reciprocal of negative 2/5. What's a, huh? Yeah, it has to be negative. The reciprocal of a negative number is another negative number. Okay, because a negative times a negative will make positive. And 5 cancels with 5, 2 cancels with 2. We get a equals multiply by negative 5 halves. And my favorite way of doing it is dividing and then multiplying. So first of all, let's decide on the sign of our answer. Positive or negative? Yeah, positive times negative is a negative. And 2 goes into 8 4 times. 4 times negative 5 is, in this case, yeah, negative 20. So it's just, again, I prefer dividing than multiplying. It makes the number smaller, and then you multiply. But you can multiply, right, and then divide, which is basically what we did here. Okay, one more. Number 2. Let's do -10 equals 5/6 times k. Okay, method one. Method one, we multiply by the denominator. Oops, which is 6. And we're going to multiply by 6 over here. Let's see what happens. What do we get on the left side? -60 equals 5k. So now let's just divide that away. And that's going to give us -12 equals k. Okay, so that's method 2. Can I do something for method 1 that we're allowed to do? I want to show that to you. How many of you like your variable on the right side? Anybody like the variable on the right? Okay. Meaning you're okay with it if it's either on either side? That's fine. What I'm going to do is I'm going to reverse this. I'm just going to turn this around. 5/6k equals -10. When we start solving inequalities, it's going to be more to our advantage to have our variable on the left. I just want you to get into that habit. You're always allowed to turn this around like that, okay? All right. Multiply by the reciprocal. What's our reciprocal? 6/5, and it's positive. So we get just 1k or just k. And we divide 5 into 10. -2, multiply that by 6. -12. And we are done. So today we are going to have just practicing some division, and then you're going to have some of these. Delta.